Your local view on WYCU LDTV 26, serving Charlestown, New Hampshire, the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, and central Vermont.
Coming up tonight on YCU, a former Hanover student died Sunday night after collapsing during a basketball game. 3 have been arrested in Springfield for drug charges. And we'll hear from New Hampshire State Senator David Pierce on some of the key issues going on in the State House. With more news, sports, and weather, stay tuned. It's time for YCU, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region and central Vermont. News, sports, weather, public affairs, and all that's happening in our area. The news on YCU, your local view.
Hi, Dave Carmichael here with you on YCU. A college student from Hanover collapsed during an intramural basketball game Sunday night and later died. George Papadopoulos, a 20-year-old Hanover native, was a student at Western New England College in Springfield, Massachusetts. Efforts to revive him were unsuccessful, and he was pronounced dead at Bay State Medical Center, according to the school's Dean of Students. Papadopoulos was in his sophomore year at the school studying biochemical engineering. At the time, school officials do not have additional information on the student's cause of death or funeral arrangements. Police say that 3 Springfield residents were arrested over the weekend after officers allegedly located cocaine, marijuana, and drug paraphernalia in a Summer Street apartment. Matthew Gagne, Martin Gagne, and Sabrina Farrar, all of Springfield, were cited on 3 drug possession charges stemming from a police response at approximately 1 a.m. on February 16th. Officers responded to an apartment at 8 Summer Street for a report of a fight and detected the odor of marijuana coming from the unit upon arrival. When officers searched the residence, they allegedly located several grams worth of powdered cocaine, a small amount of crack cocaine, and approximately 10 grams of marijuana. A Warner, New Hampshire man died Saturday night, and a 17-year-old female was hospitalized from a brush fire accident at 137 Deer Meadow Road in Webster. Officials say that 20-year-old Daniel Heway used gasoline in an attempt to ignite a brush fire in a fire pit, which caused a small explosion and a flash fire. The New Hampshire Medical Examiner official ruled that Heway's death was accidental due to the inhalation injuries and burns. The 17-year-old female is being treated at Brigham and the Women's Hospital in Boston and is expected to make a full recovery. Thieves cut their way into the recycling service building in Claremont over the weekend, getting away with between $5,000 and $6,000 worth in catalytic converters. Staff members left the business locked up on Friday afternoon, only to discover that the chain closing the gate at the driveway had been cut and the windows of the main building were smashed. The thieves worked their way into the main warehouse, opened one of the bay doors, and backed the truck up into the opening. They then went into a full box of about 100 catalytic converters and hand-loaded them into the truck. The converters had already been sold to another business. The entire load weighed about 1,500 pounds. Assistant Windsor County judges David Singer and Jack Anderson are proud of their courthouse. In many ways, the building, which was finished in 1855 and sits on the town green, is almost like a museum. Original benches and fixtures remain. The courthouse, which handles civil cases, needs a lot of work. None of the bathrooms are handicap accessible, neither is the rest of the building for that matter. There's only one entrance, so if the door gets blocked, the emergency exit is on the second floor window, and it lacks proper security. On town meeting day, voters will decide to make the renovations. A larger renovation project was rejected by voters in the 1990s. However, backers of the scaled-down version say it achieves the same goal, keeping the building viable for another 100 years. New Hampshire residents were able to weigh in on a bill today that would legalize a casino in New Hampshire. The bill has already had support from Governor Maggie Hassan. She urged lawmakers to legalize gambling in her budget address last week. Most of the profits would go towards higher education, highway improvements, and North Country economic development. Would fancy-grade maple syrup by any other name taste as sweet? Vermont lawmakers are wrestling with that question as they consider whether to drop the state's traditional maple syrup labeling system in favor of a new international one. The change pits tradition versus a desire to be a bigger player in the world market. Vermont is the #1 maple syrup producer in the U.S. Labels such as fancy, grade A, medium, amber, and grade B would be gone. In their place would be several types of a grade A label with the description phases added. The state Senate last week passed the measure and sent it to the House. Vermont and New Hampshire Senators Bernie Sanders and Jeanne Shaheen are joining 22 other senators, led by Tom Udall of New Mexico, challenging the Postmaster General's authority to discontinue Saturday mail delivery service later this year without congressional approval. In a letter to the Postmaster General Patrick Donahue, the senators acknowledge the financial challenges the Postal Service is facing and urges them to work with Congress to address these problems through the bipartisan reform, such as the Senate legislation passed last year. They also pointed out that a shift to a 5-day service could lead to further declines in mail volume and revenues, worsening the U.S. Postal Service's overall condition. The average gas price in New Hampshire is up 31 cents in the past month. According to AAA, New Hampshire ranks 20th in the nation at $3.71 per gallon. In Vermont, the price has gone up 27 cents in the same period. California has the highest average price in the continental U.S. at $4.16 per gallon. Meanwhile, Wyoming has the lowest at around $3.17 per gallon. After the break, meet the innkeeper at the historic Hotel Coolidge in White River Junction.
The YCU News continues in a moment.